Good morning everyone out there, and we are sitting on the edge of Zambezi Boutique again, same as the last episode, except we were down in the garden, and we've got the Zambezi out back behind us. I don't know if you can quite see it in the shot, but I got some very cool people from the US of A here with me today. They are Keith and Renee Whitaker.
Whitaker, that's right.
And they have a sailing boat called Zatara. In fact, they're known as Sailing Zatara.
That's right. That's right.
So look them up on YouTube because they've got an amazing story, which, you know, I'd love to go into right now, but we're not going to go delve too deep into that. I just subscribe to them, watch them. They're very cool. They got 3 kids traveling with them on this boat around the world, and they have 4 kids in total.
Yeah.
But one of them decided sailing's not for them. Totally understandable. So guys, thank you very much for taking a bit of time out of your schedule, because I know you guys, you've been traveling for 6 years already.
That's right.
And before that, I saw you doing some stuff in an RV.
We did.
We did RV for a couple of years. The kids were little, so that was really hard.
Yeah, I can imagine. But now they're all grown up, and
Yep.
I ended up watching the episode where the kids were, and you'd met another family on a boat, and there were a lot of young teenagers on there as well. And I think the boys, you know, they were quite happy to see some other girls.
You bet. You bet.
And then your oldest,
Jack,
he jumped off a cliff or something in the Seychelles.
Yes.
And I think that was just to show off, right?
That's
He would
exactly.
never have done that.
Well, he probably would, but it didn't hurt having the girls watching him, for sure.
Guys, tell us a little bit about, we're a landlocked country. It's not like you could sail your boat up the Zambezi to park here by Victoria Falls. So what made you come all this way inland to see? I mean, Victoria Falls is a special place, but I mean, you're about sailing. So how did that happen?
Well, everywhere we go when we're traveling around the world, we want to. I love geography, I love landscapes, and I love wildlife.
Right.
And so does my family. So does Renee. And so the only way, all my life, I always wanted to see the interior of Africa. You know, I wanted to see what Africa really was about, not just the port cities, because we go to port cities all the time in our boat. So we always see port cities, and all port cities are basically the same. We want to see the interior of a country. You want to see what's going on in the middle of the country. So we parked our boat up in Tanzania, and we flew down to Joburg, got a car, and we've done a big loop, about 4,000 miles, which would be about 8,000 kilometers, through South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, now Zimbabwe, and then we're headed back to Kruger and then Joburg. And by driving through these countries, even though we're not there for a very long time in spots, it gives us a great feel of what it's like in those countries. You get to drive through the small towns, the big towns, you get to drive through the countryside, and you get a feel for the wildlife, the geography, you know, what a view out here, and all those kind of things, and that's why we do that.
Amazing. And obviously you come from a big state of Texas, and
Yes.
obviously an even bigger country. So you're used to driving. But has it felt a bit strange getting behind the wheel of a car as opposed to being behind the sailing boat?
It's on the wrong side of the road.
Are you
Just
driving,
saying.
Renee?
No, he's driving.
Okay.
But he's been
On the
doing
wrong side of the road, right?
Yeah, he's been doing this since New Zealand. We were in lockdown in New Zealand, and so that was 3 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's been driving on the left side of the road for the last 3 years. So.
So when I go
So
back,
did you come out and start driving on the wrong side of the road?
he's
when
done
you-
a few
of those
Yep.
every once in a while. I just have a brain fart and do that. But I'm gonna really have a hard time when we go back to America, because I'm so used to driving on your side of the road now. It's just gonna be crazy.
Now, since you've been in Victoria Falls this last few days,
Yep.
you've been doing a few things.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about that? And, you know, obviously you went to see the falls themselves. Was that impressive, or I mean, you've seen a lot of things.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of things, and you know, and I don't know how Renee feels, but for me, you don't really, you know, you can walk to the falls and you can see the power of the water coming off the falls, and that's pretty powerful. But then we did a helicopter tour, and we flew over the falls, and when you see that water just kind of trickling out there in the Zambezi, that's what it's called.
Correct, yeah.
And then it just cuts into that ground,
Yeah.
and you realize how powerful and that's flowing every day for the last million years or however long it's been, and it's words don't describe that. I mean, it's very indescribable.
apologies to some of your country men and women, but the funniest comment I've had from an American that's visited here, and they said to us, please tell us what time you switch off Victoria Falls at night so that we know to plan our day. I was like, okay guys, we got to educate you here a bit.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, guys, you've also been out to see some of the local community since you've been here.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think you've been to some of the schools.
Yes.
And some of the kids, have been excited to see you because they've been learning about your trip. But what sort of emotions has that inspired for you, or feelings, meeting people as Zimbabweans?
Yeah, that's probably the best part of traveling like we do. For me, I love seeing the falls, seeing the desert in Namibia, but it's learning the people, engaging with the people. We stay at different hotels and eat at restaurants, and we went to the school a couple of days ago. We've gone through villages, and just engaging with the people and learning that, they're so happy and excited to see you and to show you their school, their where they live. It's fantastic. I love it.
And I'll add to that, what was really interesting to me when we went to the school, you guys didn't show up there, did you?
No, we
didn't. So it was a question and answers type setting, and the children there had real legitimate questions.
Brilliant.
And a lot of them were, I'd say probably 30 or 40% of them were very, not just because it was a school function, but were very interested beyond school of what we're doing and wanting to see that adventure and do it for them. So you could tell some of them in their eyes, they were like all about going and doing that, living the life on the sea or traveling and doing that. So that was very impressive.
They're very intelligent. They had come up with questions beforehand, so they had notes, and they had actual, legitimate, intelligent questions. Usually it's like, where's your favorite place to go, and what's the scariest moment at sea? But they had other ones like, how long did it take you from the time you decided to go sailing to when you actually set off on the water?
Yeah.
We're like,
that's an
it's
adult
a little
question.
adult talking.
So it was very
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
It was very impressive.
And I think, Zimbabweans, we like to brag about the fact that Zimbabwe has the highest literacy rate in Africa.
Yeah.
Very well educated populace of people. And you tend to find Zimbabweans, if they're not leading here at home, they're out there somewhere in the world taking on some kind of leading position. But I think something you mentioned earlier about Zimbabwean people and the fact that you seem to find everybody's happy or smiling.
They are.
I think that lends itself also to them doing really well. We're also known as very resilient people, Zimbabweans have been through some ups and downs, but they're still out there and they're still making it happen, which I guess is a little bit like sailing through some rough weather around the world.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that a little bit more, because you've been to a lot of places, and you were telling me about some of the experiences that you had with people in the Maldives, and how that sort of surprised you in a way that people were so open and friendly, even though from a totally different religion, culture. And you've seen a lot of cultures, and you've been, a lot of places in the world. Has it, coming from Texas, it's Dallas, right?
Yes.
And coming from, what many people think is the greatest country in the world. I mean, you have everything. And going out, has it been a humbling experience for you, meeting different people? Has it reinforced your own values? Has it changed how you feel? And I'm not trying to make you say anything right or wrong, just feelings about that, and maybe related to your experiences here.
Well, for me, it was, most Americans don't have passports.
Right.
They don't travel very much. They live in a bubble, and that's where they live. And they get all their information and all their news from the media,
right,
and from Hollywood or whatever their source of that is. And traveling in the world has opened up my eyes to realize that what we see on TV, what we see in the media, is not accurate. It's not always accurate. Probably 95% of the time, it's not accurate about other people and other cultures. We all have our bad parts of our societies. Everybody has a bad part of their society, but the majority of every place we've been has been good people that know they have problems in their society, but they're great people, hospitable people. It doesn't matter whether it's Islamic, it's Christian, Jewish, doesn't matter what it is. We found that everybody gets along and everybody just loves and is kind and giving.
Right. I love that message.
Except for the French. No, I'm so kidding.
Oh my
I am
gosh.
so kidding. The French are okay.
We did
Okay, I won't
have,
show this to my French friends.
we publish where we're going and what we're going to do on our channel, and we often get comments that say, oh my gosh, don't go there, that's dangerous, or oh, you better avoid this place, or those people are having political turmoil, don't go there. And we've gone to every place except for Somalia yet. I don't know that we're going to do that, but we've gone to all these places and it's a complete opposite.
Right.
We never really felt unsafe. There was a few places, in downtown cities and certain places that, we were told lock the doors when you're driving, so you're coming to the robots or red lights, and so we did. But in 99% of the places, we've felt welcome at home. It's beautiful. The people are beautiful and welcoming, and it's been very surreal.
And those places would be no different than downtown Dallas or New York. There's certain places you lock the doors and
after dark.
It's not just an African thing. It's a world thing. There's just places where they're bad people, and you just do what you got to do to. Africa doesn't have the stronghold on that.
Yeah. No, I think it's just wonderful to hear you say that, and I think going back to just being greeted by such happiness, and I mean, we're not the richest country in the world, and I don't know how they do this happy country index. I don't know quite how that works, but I think Zimbabweans know how to laugh. They've got great sense of humor, and I'm talking Zimbabwe because that's where we're from, but I think that's a big part of life. I think a lot of people just sort of look to people like yourselves. You've got a massive following, and I think we've had a conversation because you're a very successful business person.
Right.
You did really well, I think, in Dallas. I think you nearly played for the NFL, right? I mean, look at the size of this guy. I was a bit freaked out when you shook my hand. I was like, whoa, that's like, but I mean, you're a role model to a lot of people, and we were talking about sort of what makes people sort of happy in life, and I think you had a little bit to say about that. We won't go deep, but I know you're passionate about it. So if you could sort of inspire the viewers here a little bit with that.
Well, for me, and this is my opinion, and for us, having an adventure and not knowing what tomorrow brings, and that's what inspires us. And you can chase that for us, chasing after money, chasing after careers, chasing after all those things, I think leaves one feeling, for me personally, I think it leaves you feeling empty. There's, Renee coined a term a long time ago, there's nothing on the other side of money. Right. And so, being the best father you can be, the best husband you can be, the best friend you can be, in that sphere of influence that you have, brings more happiness than I think ever having those careers and all those things. And then, once again, going after that adventure, not having tomorrow planned out, not knowing what tomorrow brings. That's what drives me, because if I knew what the rest of my life was going to be like, I wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't want to know how it turned out for me.
Right.
And so I like living on the edge of not maybe knowing what's going to happen.
Fantastic. Great to get that. And it's quite nice for people out there that are sort of just hell-bent and it's got to make money to hear that, and maybe to sort of double think what their life's about. Yeah, I just want to come back now maybe to close things out, and again, because I speak mainly to Zimbabweans or Zimbabweans that are sitting in the diaspora, that have left the country, that are maybe thinking about coming back, or just interested in their home country. Now I know you've only seen Victoria Falls, and I know there's so many places you can visit in the world. We discussed this, and I was like, damn, why aren't you guys going to Kariba and Wangi and Gonarejo and Monopools? And I'm still, there's part of me hopes that you'll come back to Africa and you'll maybe come back to this part. But if you could sort of maybe close us off, both of you, and maybe on behalf of your kids as well. It's kind of hoping. I see Finn's dodged off, but you gotta, if kids out there, you gotta watch their kids. They've all got their individual channels and TikTok. I mean, I don't even know what to do with TikTok, but they're doing some amazing stuff. So younger people out there, get online and watch what they're doing and use the power of the internet, which has come to Zimbabwe now, and you can make things happen. But talk a little bit more, please, about Zimbabwe. Is it a place, now that you've been here just for a few days and you've only been to Victoria Falls, and I know that it's an amazing world wonder, but would you come back based on what you've seen?
Yeah.
And why would that be?
Well, I mean, it's just been, like Renee said, it's friendly. I mean, blessing here has just been kind. You guys have been so kind to us. Everybody's just the friendliness here and the hospitality of your people is overwhelming. It's been overwhelming. I mean, we've been to a lot of places in the world, and I'm not just picking on Zimbabwe, but Botswana and all the places we've been at. The African culture is super friendly. I mean, hospitable, unlike anything we ever.
It's refreshing. We took some quad bike tours a few days ago in a village, one of the villages here, and the kids are running out and they're so happy, and they give you high fives and fist bumps, and they're just so happy, and it's so nice to see kids that are happy and joyful.
And I think that's great, because it's uncontrived. It's just a natural response to people arriving. And
we're also reserved in the U.S. I just feel like in our neighborhoods where we lived, everybody was very reserved, and
I've noticed
you didn't
that
know
since
your
traveling
next door
there.
neighbor. You didn't know them.
Yeah.
You just lived in your little bubble.
Yeah.
And traveling like we have done has really opened up.
And the neat thing, when we're traveling in the smaller communities and the towns and the villages out there, and the huts and all that, and the children, they're still pure. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about this country, and maybe it might be a curse, is that even though they have technology, it hasn't caught up to every little child who's got a phone in his hand, and it's robbing. I mean, technology is a great thing, but it's also, when you come out here, you see people. The kids are playing with things that we played with in the 50s, in the 60s and 70s, because we didn't have technology back then. And so they're still using their mind and their imaginations, and they're not all tied up on a screen. And that's a big thing when you're out there in the towns, and you see that they're having just as much fun, if not more, than most teenagers in America who are miserable looking at TikTok every day.
Right.
And I'm not saying that's a wrong thing. I'm just saying there's a balance somewhere, and it's refreshing to see that out here.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, you guys, I want to thank you very much. There's just so much we can talk about, but I think we've touched on some nice points. I want to thank you very much for taking the time out of your trip to come up to Victoria Falls, come and see Zimbabwe, experience it for yourself. I know Blessing's been showing you some great sights, and we wish you bon voyage, and have a wonderful journey from here. Obviously going through Botswana now, and then to the Kruger.
Yep.
And then after Kruger,
Joburg,
and then you're flying back
to the
boat, which is in Tanzania.
And
from there, what's the routing?
Well, we're not sure yet, but around August we'll head up to the Red Sea.
Okay, wow.
So we'll spend the winter in the Red Sea, and then we'll jump into the Mediterranean in spring of
through the Suez Canal.
Through the Suez Canal in 2023.
That'll be an experience.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to say was, one of the reasons we chose each place, Cape Town and Namibia and Zimbabwe, was because we told people, hey, we're going to go to Africa. What should we go see, or what should we do? And we had Africans sending us emails saying, come see Zimbabwe, come here, come look at this, and stay with us, and you've got to see this, and you've got to see the desert, and you've got to do this. And so that's one reason we chose each place. And so it's just the kindness of people. When we say we're going to the U.S., we don't have anybody.
You go to the U.S., I don't want to put that on the video, but anyway.
But that's been awesome.
You got a lot of famous people in the U.S. as well. But I mean, you guys, I'm just hoping that particularly we call it an Africa bug or a Zimbabwe bug, and I'm hoping you've been bitten by it, particularly your kids, because having them out here and interacting with local people and sending that message back across the world is certainly special.
You bet. Awesome. Luke, thank you.
Pleasure.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good
so
luck
much
on your
for
trip.
having
Thank you
us.
very much, Renee.
Thank
you. It was great.
And thank you guys.